What's going on, everybody? TRL here. Wanted to jump on here and just do a video to sort of reset, just kind of get back in the game with some of you. I know everybody's busy prepping and whatnot. So, as the title of the video, is displayed there, you can see what I'm asking. Are you ready? Or are you just rolling the dice to see what happens? Now, the reason I ask is that there's a lot of people out here that are just running their mouth and they're just following the leader. But I think as the worldwide danger, of course, here and abroad continues to ratchet up, people are going to have to make tough decisions on their, risk awareness, their security situation, defense of their home, whether they go out and do things or not, whether they go out unarmed or armed, whether they are prepared to defend themselves, their family, and their property and their, items. And sometimes it's a difficult subject to approach because it's really easy when you're sitting, at a computer or on the phone or watching TV to say, well, I do this, I would do that. And, the reason that I'm sort of bringing this video up is just a couple of things. One, I think most people by now have seen the beating that the New York cops took by, immigrants that were allowed in here by the feds and basically processed them without any promise of return or, incarceration, any detention. I think they probably got their fingerprints and got a fake name and then they left, got out. And they even had the, cojones to deliver double birds to the cameras as they were coming out. So, being the fact that we've got people that are willing to know that they're here illegally, think that they can bring their trash and their, you know, behavior to this country and not even try to hide it. They're straight out in your face, jumping on cops, assaulting cops. And what's really sad to me, and I don't know for sure that it didn't happen, but what really bothers me is that no citizens appear to jump in and help these officers, you know. And I think we all need to be prepared to pick a side when it comes to the first responders because they need us as just as much as we need them. And if we end up in a world with no cops, no firefighters, no EMTs or paramedics, that's a pretty dark world. Okay. And so, I think everybody needs to make that decision, based on probably their capabilities and what their beliefs are, but I'm not, and honestly, if I see, it doesn't even have to be a first responder. If I see a citizen that's being beaten, that is unable to defend themselves, more than likely, I'm going to feel the need to probably get in there and at least, minimize the threat in some capacity. Because that's just not cool. When somebody's out, they're out. And if you're continuing to, pound on somebody or assault them when they're incapable of defending themselves or unconscious, that's a deadly force situation to me. And so I think people need to be prepared to see those types of things and then decide what they're willing to do to help, public servants that are in a jam. And, again, everybody has to make that personal choice. But as far as me, I'm going to feel compelled to assist or provide assistance to those first responders or citizens that are in need and can't defend themselves. So that's one part of this video. I think everybody needs to wake up if you're not awake yet and understand the direction of this country. And I don't really think it matters where you live. There's plenty of bad actors coast to coast, like we needed extra help with that, right? But here we go. We've been, the numbers have multiplied dramatically, and so now we've got lots of bad actors coast to coast. Some of our own, some not of our own. So I'm not a big fan of people not living their lives because they're afraid to go out. But that's sort of the direction that this thing's going towards. And I think we all need to be prepared to live our lives, but I also think we need to be prepared to defend ourselves, should it come to that. And, be empowered. Don't be afraid, but be empowered. And, being empowered entails a lot of things. It entails paying attention, knowing where you're going, using your brain, trying not to get boxed in anywhere, and, having the capacity to make quick on your feet decisions when it comes to trouble, right? Like me, for example, I don't go anywhere, period, where I'm unarmed. Now, there's a couple of exceptions to that. Obviously, airports, anywhere, courthouses, obviously, anywhere that I'm going to be going through a metal detector, I won't be armed. Okay. But other than that, you can rest assured that I'm going to be prepared to, defend myself with deadly force should it come to that. Pray to God that it never does, but if it does, it does. But I think people need to come to the realization, even if they're uncomfortable with certain things like firearms, it's to the point where you're just either going to roll the dice or you're going to take your own security, into your own hands. Because I can tell you this, as much as we value the police and the first responders, if we have a full-blown SHTF situation in this country or worse, conflict, coming to our shores, the first responders, most of them are going to be at home protecting their own families. Okay. They're not going to be worried about coming into work. All right. And that's not bashing them. That's just reality. I'm not going to leave my own family exposed to come into work because, I have a shift coming up. And I'm certainly, again, not bashing those people, but one of the realizations that we have to come to is we need to provide our own security. That's at home, on the road, walking around the block, going to the store, going to the movies, taking a trip, whatever the case may be. All right. Expect no help. What you can expect is little to no help, actually, and using your brain and your skills to get out of a hairy situation should it come to that. So I encourage everybody to do some reading, learn some self-defense tactics, learn some, non-lethal and lethal tactics, learn how to spot things that aren't right, test yourself. For example, if you go to a store and you're in a big parking lot with lots of people, pull into a nice spot where you can get out easily. Hopefully it's well lit if it's at nighttime. And, scan the area. Look around. What's around you? Are you in a place where you can get out quick? Are there people lurking about? Is there people walking around, sizing people up, looking for something to steal? Pay attention to those things. After you scan the parking lot for 30 seconds to a minute, okay, get your stuff together, get out, lock your vehicle, and go to the store. Paying attention with every step you take of what's around you and what's going on. Okay. So you got to watch out for just bad drivers in parking lots too. They'll run you over. So take your security seriously. Take your defense, self-defense, and your, security thought process, under your own control. All right. Be smart, be safe. Keep prepping those items like meds, over-the-counter meds, food, water, self-defense items. Don't forget all that. So with that, everybody be safe and long live the Republic.